Trying to stay on top of things at work these days can be like, well, a real marathon. Right.
Oh, absolutely. You're constantly pushing to learn more, do more, whether you're gearing up for a big presentation or trying to get a handle on a whole new area, or maybe you're just like naturally curious. We're all looking for the most effective ways to, really get the knowledge we need.
Totally. And it's that need for like smart and efficient learning that led us to this deep dive we're doing today.
Yeah, we're going to dig into this tool called Shadowinner. We want to see what it can really do,
Yeah.
especially for people who want to learn fast and get to the core of things, just like our listener.
Yeah, exactly. We've gone through a ton of material, videos, articles, the works to pull out the most important stuff about Shadowinner. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding what really matters about this thing.
Awesome.
All right, so first things first. What exactly is Shadowinner?
So they're calling it a fun and ergonomic application. Catchy, right? Basically, it's all about training employees and helping them collaborate better within a company. The idea is simple but clever. You connect employees who need help, they call them shadowers, with more experienced colleagues who are the experts.
Gotcha. So it's not just for newbies who need a hand.
No, not at all. It's definitely great for new employees. Helps them onboard quicker, learn skills faster, find their place in the company, and get help with things like, say, dealing with clients. But it's just as valuable for senior folks, too. Think about it. It helps them get noticed for promotions, shows how much they contribute through collaboration, and they even get to develop their leadership skills by mentoring others.
Interesting. So how does this whole thing tie in with, like, our everyday work schedules?
Well, that's the cool part. Shadowinner works directly with your calendar to make organizing and joining these shadowing and mentoring sessions super easy. It all revolves around specific skills or things you need to know for upcoming tasks and events.
All right, so let's say I'm an employee and I need help with something. I'm the shadower, right? What do I do?
Okay, so as a shadower, you have a couple of options. You can join live online events hosted by experts right on the Shadowinner platform, or, and this is really slick, you can actually ask for help directly from an expert through your Google Calendar. There's a special Chrome extension for this.
Wait, hold on. A Chrome extension for Google Calendar. Tell me more about that.
Right, it's pretty neat. You can find the link to download it right on Shadowinner's welcome page. It's a breeze to set up. Once it's installed and you've signed in with your Google account, it's all connected. So let's say you have something on your calendar, like prepping a really complicated report, and you need some guidance. Using the extension, you can tag that event with keywords like data analysis or something similar. Then you just check the box that says you need help, and bam, experts in that area get a notification through Shadowinner.
That's pretty efficient. But what about the people on the other side? How does it work for the experts who are sharing their knowledge?
It's really straightforward for them, too. They get these notifications when someone needs help in their area of expertise. Then they can just jump into that event on the calendar and offer their advice. And here's something even cooler. Experts can actually share their own everyday calendar, stuff meetings, projects, tasks, where they're using their skills. All it takes is a few clicks with that same Chrome extension.
So they don't have to, like, go out of their way to help others.
Nope, it's all about integrating it into their normal workflow.
Smart. Okay, so we've got the basics down. What about getting started? How do you set up a profile and start these events?
Okay, so making your profile is super user-friendly. You choose what you're good at and what you want to learn more about. This is where you decide whether you're more of a shadower or an expert in certain areas, or maybe even both. And of course, you link it up with your Google Calendar right then and there.
Makes sense. And then how do you actually create one of these Shadowinner events?
Most of that happens right through your Google Calendar, using the extension we talked about. You can either use an event you've already got or create a new one and link it to Shadowinner. Then you add the details, like what the topic is, a short description, and even how many shadowers can join. The important thing is to be clear about whether you're offering help as an expert. You leave a need help box unchecked. Or if you need guidance as a shadower, you check that box so the experts know you're looking for them.
So what if your plans change? Can you easily update or cancel these events?
Oh yeah. Managing the events is pretty simple. If you want to take it off Shadowinner, you just delete the special shadowinner.com address from the guest list in the calendar invite. Changes to the date, time, or place that you make in Google Calendar will sync up with Shadowinner automatically. But if you need to change the description, the type of event, is it an expert offering or a shadow request or the main skill associated with it, you got to do that directly on the Shadowinner platform. And if the whole purpose of the event changes drastically, the easiest thing is to unlink it from Shadowinner and then relink the updated event with the right details.
Gotcha. So there are all these events happening. How do you actually join one that looks interesting?
So you'll get email alerts based on the skills you've chosen in your profile. You can also browse through events right on the Shadowinner platform. They've got filters for the type of event, the skill themes, specific people, even departments. Once you find something you want to join, you click Join, and you get a calendar invite. Before you commit, you can even check out the organizer's profile, see their collaboration points, any badges they've earned, and comments from others who have joined their events.
So you can kind of get a feel for what to expect.
Exactly. It helps you see if it's the right fit for you.
Okay, so let's say an event is over. What happens then? Is there any kind of follow-up?
Yeah, letting everyone know you were there is important. You'll get reminders from Shadowinner by email and through that Chrome extension. All you have to do is log back into Shadowinner and click Did you attend for that event? If you were there, you can even leave a comment about how it went and give the expert a badge if you found them super helpful. And for the experts, every time a Shadower confirms they attended, they get more of those collaboration points.
You've mentioned collaboration points a few times. What other features do people have on the platform?
So besides the whole joining events thing, everyone gets a personalized dashboard with an overview of their activity. You can see your upcoming and past events, your notifications, and there's even a leaderboard showing the top knowledge shares in the company. Plus, you can always update your profile and tweak your notification settings so you only see what's relevant to you.
So we've seen how it works for individuals. Now, what about the big picture? How does Shadowinner benefit a whole organization, like from a management perspective?
Now we're talking strategy. The master user account, that's what the managers get, gives them a really detailed map of everyone's skills. It's broken down by team, department, even region, depending on how the company's set up. It's like having X-ray vision into the company's strengths and weaknesses when it comes to skills.
Sounds like that could be incredibly useful for planning training, right?
Oh, absolutely. It helps them figure out where to focus their training efforts to get the biggest impact on team performance.
Are there any other strategic advantages for those master users?
You bet. They can also see who the top knowledge sharers are, the folks who are going above and beyond to help others learn. That info's gold, right? It helps them decide who to reward, who might be ready for promotion, and who's really embodying that company culture of sharing knowledge. Plus, they can keep an eye on how new hires are doing with the platform, see who might be struggling with certain things, and if they're actually asking for help when they need it.
So it gives them real-time insight into how learning and development are working across the whole company. What about understanding employees' career goals? How does Shadowinner help with that?
Well, Shadowinner can actually reveal a lot about where people want to go in their careers within the company. You see, it tracks the skills that employees are trying to learn as shadowers, especially when those skills are outside their current job or department. This helps the company understand and maybe even support those career aspirations.
That's super insightful. So we're talking about making collaboration like a measurable thing. How exactly does Shadowinner track all of that?
Exactly. It goes way beyond just, hoping people are collaborating. It gives you the numbers. They track things like how many users stick around, how often people log in, even who's gone inactive. They also see how many events are offered versus how many are requested, the balance of experts and shadowers, and how much help is actually being given compared to how much people need. And here's the kicker. You can filter all this data by department, team, even specific skills, so you can really zoom in and see where the skill gaps are, where teams could use some improvement, and figure out exactly where to target training efforts.
That's a pretty impressive level of detail. What about the more practical stuff, like managing users and skills? How does that work?
Master users have the power, right? They can add or remove employees and update their job info. They can even upload whole lists of users at once, which is a lifesaver when a company's just starting out with Shadowinner. And get this. Managers can actually oversee the skills their team members say they have. If they think someone's overstating their expertise, they can remove that skill. But the system always encourages them to give feedback and help that person develop that skill properly.
So how do master users make sure everyone is focusing on the right skills, the ones that are actually important for the company in each department?
That's where those master users really get to shape things. They can decide which skills are mandatory for certain departments. Let's say you've got a sales team. They might require skills like advanced negotiation tactics or key account management. Meanwhile, IT might need everyone to be up on cloud security protocols or agile development. And when people use that calendar extension, they pick from those pre-approved topics when they're offering or asking for help. Plus, master users can set up alerts for people based on those topics. They can also add, change, or delete team and department names, which then become filters that everyone can use.
Sounds incredibly flexible. It seems like this would be really helpful for global companies too, wouldn't it?
You got it. For international companies, Shadowinner is a game changer. It makes collaboration and skill sharing across borders so much smoother. Master users can input and filter data by country so employees can connect no matter where they are. This boosts company culture, makes it easier for people to move between offices, strengthens diversity and inclusion, and makes the whole operation way more efficient.
So Shadowinner isn't standing still. It's always evolving.
Exactly. They're working on some cool new things, like visual data reports with graphs so it's easier to see what's happening, email alerts for important changes, a way to give direct feedback, and they're even building a master user community where people can share tips and best practices.
That's good to hear. So we've covered how it works for individuals and for the whole organization. Do you have any real-world examples of Shadowinner going beyond those basic uses?
Oh yeah, definitely. Think about a sales team, right? They took each salesperson's skills and matched them up to all the products in their catalog right there on Shadowinner. This gave them a clear picture of where their team was strong and where they might have some gaps. And get this, they started noticing a direct link between how much money they made on certain products and how many experts they had for those products on their sales team.
That's a pretty powerful insight. What did they do with that information?
So there was this one salesperson who realized that the best solution for a big potential client involved product A. But the salesperson wasn't super familiar with product A, so what did they do? They scheduled a follow-up with the client, and, this is the cool part, use that Shadowinner Chrome extension right from their Google Calendar invite. They tagged the meeting topic as product A and marked that they needed expert help. Super simple.
So what happened? Did anyone step up?
You bet. Almost instantly, Shadowinner sent out an alert to everyone who listed Product A as one of their skills. And guess what? A colleague from a different team, an expert in Product A, who this salesperson barely knew, responded right away and offered to help. They got together online, brainstormed some sales strategies, shared key product insights, and basically combined their knowledge for that client meeting. And the result, boom, they closed a €30,000 deal within a month. And it all happened organically because the salesperson needed help and the platform connected them with the right person. No one forced them to use Shadowinner, it just happened naturally.
Wow, that's a pretty amazing example of how it can work in real life. So the name Shadowinner obviously comes from the idea of shadowing someone. How is this platform different from or better than traditional shadowing?
That's a great question. Traditional shadowing is good for one-on-one learning, but it can be a logistical nightmare, trying to coordinate schedules, being limited by location, and it's hard to know how much people are actually learning or how much the expert is contributing. That makes it tough to encourage people to share their knowledge, and it's hard to even identify the real experts in a company.
It can be a bit messy and hard to scale up.
Totally. That's where Shadowinner comes in and solves those problems. Syncing with calendars makes scheduling a breeze. It breaks down geographical barriers so you can learn from people anywhere. And with the collaboration points system, they actually reward knowledge sharing and make the whole process more efficient, accessible, and most importantly, measurable.
So it's more than just shadowing, it's kind of revolutionizing it. You mentioned onboarding and mentoring earlier. How does Shadowinner work for all those different aspects of employee development?
It becomes like a central hub for building a culture of continuous learning. For new hires, it helps them find and connect with experienced colleagues right away so they get up to speed faster and learn the ropes. For mentoring, it provides a structured, trackable way for senior folks to guide and support others, building those valuable professional relationships. And for anyone who wants to keep learning and improving their skills, it lets them proactively seek out opportunities based on their goals and what they need right now.
It sounds like the calendar sync is what makes it all so smooth.
Absolutely. That Google Calendar extension and the Outlook one that's coming soon are designed to turn every single event on your calendar into a potential learning opportunity. Just tag an event with the skills involved, and anyone who's interested in developing those skills gets an automatic notification. Then they can ask to shadow that event, get a calendar invite, and just like that, all the usual hassle of coordinating schedules disappears.
And the way Shadowinner matches people based on skills is much more advanced than just relying on who you know.
Right. Right. They use those user profiles with all the validated skills, which, by the way, managers can approve to make sure they're accurate, to create a super detailed map of everyone's competencies across the entire organization. This allows for much more precise and strategic matching, so people who want to learn get connected with the most relevant experts in the company.
You also talked about how Shadowinner can break down those silos that can exist in companies. How does it do that?
By letting people connect across departments, offices, even countries, Shadowinner breaks down those traditional barriers that keep people from learning from each other. It doesn't matter who you know or where you're located. This creates a much more inclusive and collaborative environment where knowledge can flow freely throughout the company, leading to cross-functional understanding and more innovation.
And how do those collaboration points help track progress and encourage people to participate in all this knowledge sharing?
Those points are a great way to recognize and reward the experts for sharing their knowledge. It gives them a tangible incentive to get involved. And on the flip side, the self-assessment part encourages the shadowers to reflect on what they've learned and how their skills are developing. This two-pronged approach shows both individual growth and highlights the key players who are driving knowledge transfer in the company.
It sounds like this could even become part of people's career paths.
Exactly. Imagine those collaboration points being considered during performance reviews and career discussions. That would really motivate people to share their knowledge and see it as a way to move up in the company. It gives recognition to those who are often behind the scenes, but play a crucial role in helping their colleagues grow. It ties the idea of the shadow, which is typically unseen, with the concept of being a winner by contributing to the success of the entire organization through shared knowledge.
It sounds like a really powerful tool. How would you compare to other platforms for learning and collaboration like Gong.io, which focuses on analyzing how people communicate?
That's a great comparison that shows how different tools can actually complement each other. Gong.io is great at analyzing verbal communication, but Shadowinner takes a more personalized, hands-on approach to learning and development. Instead of just passively watching or listening to information, users are actively involved in real-world situations with expert colleagues. This active learning leads to more motivation, better retention of information, and the development of strong professional relationships and networks. Plus, Shadowinner connects people across departments and locations, opening up opportunities to explore different roles and consider moving within the company in ways that a more specialized tool like Gong.io wouldn't typically do. The best approach might even be to use both types of platforms together for a more comprehensive learning strategy.
And considering the economic challenges companies are facing, how can Shadowinner help them navigate those difficulties?
That's a really important point. Shadowinner helps companies make the most of what they already have by identifying and tapping into their internal expertise. It helps them share knowledge in a way that's often more cost-effective than traditional training programs. It can also directly boost sales by quickly connecting employees who need specific product or sales strategy knowledge with in-house experts. And it makes onboarding new hires and internal mobility much smoother by connecting people with experienced colleagues who can provide the right guidance and support, creating a more flexible and adaptable workforce.
That's especially important now, with so many companies working remotely or in hybrid setups. How does Shadowinner help with collaboration in those environments?
The Google Calendar extension is even more crucial for remote and hybrid teams. It lets people see what skills are being used in virtual meetings and easily find colleagues with the specific expertise they need, even if they're miles apart. The skill mapping feature helps companies understand the strengths and weaknesses of their remote teams so they can provide targeted training. And the collaboration point system is a great way to measure engagement and encourage people to share their knowledge even when they're not physically together.
You mentioned how Shadowinner can help create a more inclusive company culture. Could you explain how that works?
It all comes down to three key things. First, it connects people based purely on their skills and what they want to learn, so it doesn't matter how experienced they are, what their background is, or who they already know. Second, by showcasing everyone's skills and experiences, it values diversity and highlights the wide range of talent within the company. And third, the transparent collaboration point system and leaderboard encourage inclusive leadership by rewarding helpfulness and promoting mentorship in a fair and balanced way.
It sounds like a very positive and supportive environment. What about the challenges companies face when experienced employees retire? The potential loss of knowledge and expertise.
That's a huge concern for many companies. There's a real risk of losing valuable knowledge when those seasoned professionals leave. Shadowinner provides a direct and effective way to transfer that knowledge before it's gone. By connecting experienced experts with colleagues who are eager to learn, it encourages active sharing of insights and best practices. The gamification aspects, like the points and leaderboard, can motivate older employees to participate and feel appreciated for their vast experience, while younger employees benefit from that wisdom. This ultimately helps the company preserve its most valuable intellectual capital.
So one last time, let's talk about that calendar extension. What's the big strategic goal behind it?
The main goal of that Google Calendar extension, and this Outlook one that's on its way, is to make learning and development a natural part of everyone's daily work. It turns regular calendar events into opportunities for learning. It simplifies onboarding for new hires and makes it easier for people to pursue their career goals within the company. Think about that sales negotiation example we talked about. If that experienced salesperson tags their meeting with negotiation skills and opens it up for a shadower, anyone in the company who wants to improve their negotiation skills will be notified and can join. This creates all sorts of unexpected connections and helps spread essential knowledge organically throughout the company.
So to sum it all up, it sounds like Shadowinner is designed to create a culture of continuous learning companies by making it easier and more rewarding for people to connect, share their skills, and grow professionally. Ultimately, it benefits both individual employees and the success of the organization as a whole.
Exactly. It directly addresses our listeners' desire for efficient and focused knowledge acquisition. It gives you direct access to internal experts who can help you with exactly what you need to learn and grow.
So, here's a final thought for you to consider. What if you had an entire network of experts within your company just a click away? How would that change the way you approach learning new skills or tackling challenging projects? What hidden potential could be unleashed for both you and your organization if knowledge flowed more freely and was easily accessible? It's definitely worth thinking about how a system like this could transform your own professional world.
I agree. Food for thought.
Definitely. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive. Until next time.
Take care.
Bye.